We are jumping back into some more Ghost Trick Random Detective with the final part of this saga of crazy twists, turns, and a lot of mysteries within a mystery. Where we last left off, our main character, yellow hair, red suit, that's not us. We have actually been playing as a different character. We have been wearing the face of the main antagonist the entire game. Not only did he get Detective Jode's wife killed, he made it look like Lynn killed us/him. We died like a day ago. We are almost going to pass on, but we cannot let things lie the way they are. We have to stop this guy once and for all. And for those of you watching on YouTube, make sure to give this a like and please subscribe if you've been enjoying this series. Give this episode as much hype as possible because this is it! This is the finale! Let's see what happens. The upended submarine continues to sink, slowly but surely. A long, long journey to the bottom of the sea. Lynn and the little lady found the darkness and the salt water closing in on them. But at the very last second, something saved them. Now it looks down at them quietly. I see you managed to survive, Detective. Hey, you're... Excuse my appearance, I seem to have lost my body. Oh, and you there. You're the ghost who's been saving Lynn all this evening, aren't you? You knew about me all along? Well, of course. What else would explain all those unnatural things happening? If you knew, how come you didn't do anything about it all this time? And how come you decided to save us all of a sudden? I thought you wanted to get revenge on us. I don't really know. Please, you gotta tell me. I need to know. Who in the world are you? Cecil, look at you! What happened? I can't hold on to that image of myself any longer. You can't remember who you are. I came all this way tonight trying to chase down my lost memory. For quite a bit of tonight, I thought I was you, Cecil. Cecil? My name isn't Cecil. I bet you'll remember really soon. Who you are and who I am too. What? The man in front of me is not me. I'm even further away from the truth. Or maybe not. Something is stirring in my mind, a memory about to emerge. Do I know this man? Now that I've shed my image of myself, I feel like I'm one step closer to the truth. They got us good. It's all over for this submarine. Its engine room's destroyed. There's a hole in the hull, and it's sinking as we speak. What are you doing here? I thought you had to deal with those people. Well, they betrayed me. I was a fool to trust them. They already have what they wanted now. The Timsic fragment. I didn't know they had it all figured out. You mean they figured out the source of your powers? Yeah. A meteorite's radiation has two effects on living creatures. It gives power and time. These 10 years. I've been watching that junkyard superintendent do his research, and I think I've kind of got some of it figured out. Meteorite's radiation gives spirits special powers, like possessing and manipulating objects. And in my case, swapping objects! Exactly. Apparently there are individual differences in the powers we get. And it seems these powers change as time goes on. They do? Yeah, my powers have changed over these past 10 years. At first, I could only manipulate small living creatures. Now then, how do you suppose we get these powers? Well, it's simple. It is? How then? In a nutshell, we died while exposed to the energy emitted by the meteorite. It's radiation. That's what does it? Dying while being exposed to the radiation? On that day 10 years ago. A fragment of that meteorite pierced my heart, and I died. So of course, I received special powers. Hey, wait a minute! Is that how I got my powers too? You know, you might be right. Aren't the Timsic remnants still there at that park? At the bottom of the crater? You're right. So that must mean I must have died in the presence of the meteorite's radiation too. Another effect the meteorite's radiation has on us is that it gives us time. Again, I think this time effect is centered around the theme of death, but it's not all that clear. So the fact that I can return to 4 minutes before a person's death is another effect of that meteorite? One of the characteristics of that meteorite is its ability to replay the moment of death. Replay the moment of death? This is all so strange and confusing! I can't take it all in! Yeah, strange and confusing. That just about sums up the object that pierced my body that day. Thanks to that meteorite fragment, my very existence is a contradiction. What do you mean? That day, when the fragment pierced my heart, I lost my life. However, because it remained inside of me, that fragment continued to constantly regenerate my body. In other words, my body was continuously cycling between the moments that separated my life and death. What? My body's vital functions stopped 10 years ago. But my body's time is perpetually stopped at the moment just before death, so I just simply existed. Not really alive and not really dead. That pretty much sums up these last 10 years for me. Ever since that incident in the park. My body hasn't aged a day. My hair hasn't grown an inch. Come to think of it, that old pigeon guy mentioned something. He said he couldn't cut this guy's body with the scalpel. So I guess as soon as an incision was made, his body would be regenerated. Before I left this country, I wanted to do one thing. I wanted to get revenge on the people who stole our lives. Our lives? As part of the deal, I made those guys promise to cooperate. Cooperate? You mean the kidnapping? It all went fine. I manipulated the justice minister and made him issue the execution order. But I thought he might call off the execution at the last second. So that's why he wanted his daughter kidnapped. Little did I know, they had their own reasons for cooperating with me. Their objective was to wipe out everybody who had to do with Timsic. Detective Jode was one such person, so they were happy to cooperate. Inspector Cabanella and that junkyard super, well, they were slated to be wiped out too. And as it turns out, I was one of their targets as well. So they stole my Timsic fragment, and here I am. But they had one more final target. Me? If you weren't there in the park that day 10 years ago, I never would have thought of doing something as stupid as taking a hostage. Okay, but I was just a little kid playing in the park. Yeah, I know. Huh? 10 years later, and you'd become a detective looking into Jode's case. Tonight, I invited you to a quiet spot on the edge of town. It was a trap, you see. I told you who I was. You never saw my face that day 10 years ago, so of course you didn't recognize me. Took possession of you to make you shoot me. Your subconscious resisted me. It was such incredible power. It was the first time I wasn't able to control somebody completely. The aim was off, and the first shot missed the mark. The junkyard was equipped with security cameras. I knew you'd be wanted for murder. Well, that was my plan anyway. But they had other ideas. They simply wanted you wiped out. But then, something threw a big monkey wrench into their scheme. I showed up. I was supposed to meet up with them after that, but then something went wrong. What happened? My body disappeared. The inspector in white was responsible for that one. My precious bargaining chip was in that body. I had to get it back, no matter what. That inspector caused me no end of trouble. But why were those people targeting me? Never have even heard of the Timsik meteorite. Because you were looking into the Jode case. They thought you'd find out about Timsik sooner or later. And that's pretty much the whole story. The only thing left to do now is wait for the water pressure to crush this submarine. There are no cores that link from here to the water's surface. Now, I have an idea. We hook up the phone line, and there are no communication cables down this deep. They meant for this submarine to be my coffin. A coffin for the dead. There's no escape. I think I kind of understand now what you've been feeling these past 10 years. You what? This feeling, cut off from the world, all alone in a submarine, sinking slowly towards the bottom of an endless sea. This must be how you felt all along.
Lynn?
Camilla!
Is it true? We're stuck here?
What? No!
If my dad was here, I bet he'd save us.
That's funny. What is it, Cecil? There's something I don't understand. Why would they go to all the trouble of detaching the control room? What? Why didn't they just steal the Timsik fragment and escape, if that's what they wanted? Why did they have to jettison your body off into the sea? That's a good question. But I guess it doesn't matter now. We'll never find it again anyway. We have no idea where it was launched to. Wait a minute! Yes, we do! This'll tell us where Detective Jode is! That present from the inspector in white. That's right! Detective Jode told me to hold on to it for him! And the bullet is still in that person's body in the command room, right? Then we should be able to tell exactly where it is with this. But, even if we find out where it is, how do we get there? We should be able to figure something out between the three of us. With our powers, right, Miss Lynn? Right. And wait a minute. What about a torpedo? A torpedo? In any case, it's way too early to give up. Looks like Detective Jode is our last hope. Come on, let's get started.
So my dad isn't here on the submarine?
Don't worry. We're going to go get him right now.
Okay. I hope I didn't hurt Lynn's feelings. What I said about my dad saving us if he were here.
Oh, don't worry about that. Comments like that just roll right off Miss Lynn's back. She's really thick-skinned. Ouch.
I'm going to start being tougher too. I want to make my dad proud of me.
There might be another torpedo on this submarine. If we use it, we can get to Detective Jode. That's a brilliant plan, Detective. You think so? So what are you gonna do? Ride on top of the torpedo? Of course not. You guys are going to. Darn. Kind of wanted to see that. Did you want to see me drown? The torpedo room, huh? There might be another torpedo left there. I'll go check it out. Oh, I get it! You're going to use a missile to ram the control room! Well, I don't know about ram. We don't want to blow Detective Joe up, but something like that. We'll climb up to the torpedo room too. Up is definitely safer. Okay, I'll see you there then. It looks like the torpedoes can be launched manually with these switches. There are 2 tubes, so there should be one more left. I guess the first thing we do is load it into the tube. When it comes to missiles, you can count on me! I'll enter the coordinates of the command room into the torpedo. And I just turned on the backup power. We ought to be able to use the switches now. Okay, let's give it a try. There we go. That torpedo looks serviceable. All set on this end too. But something's odd. What is it? The command room. It looks like it's slowly sinking. Sinking? Yeah, like it's completely run out of power. I wonder what happened. I don't know, but I guess we'll find out. I've already set the torpedo's course. It'll head towards the command room where Detective Jode is. 12 seconds after launching, it'll pass by the command room for an instant. That instant will be your window of opportunity to jump over to the command room. Okay, got it. And then we'll find a way to come back and save you. That'll probably be my last task tonight. Just hold on until we get back. Okay, come on, Missile. Missile? I'm sorry. I can't go. What? I just can't. How can I leave? I can't leave Miss Lynn and Miss Camilla behind. I can't do it. I can't do it either. I can't ask Missile to come with me after that. I understand exactly how he feels. I want you to go, Missile. What? But Miss Lynn! You staying here won't change our fate. But if you go with Cecil, you might be able to make something happen. And that's our only hope. But what if that something doesn't happen? I'll never be able to see you again. Never ever again. Even I can understand that. I can't stand it.
Don't worry, Missile.
Miss Camilla?
I just know you and Sissy can make something happen. I believe in you. I'll be right here waiting for you. We'll see each other again. Don't worry.
Miss Camilla! That's a good boy, Missile. Now, are you ready? Remember, it's 12 seconds after I throw this switch. We're ready. Cecil? Yeah? We never found out who you really were. But that doesn't matter now. All I know is this. I'm truly glad I met you tonight. Thank you. For everything. And I'm glad I met you, Detective.
But we're going to see each other again, right, Sissy? Right, Missile?
That's right. We promise, little lady. Of course we will! I'll never forget you, no matter what happens. Here goes then. Good luck, friend. These 12 seconds are lasting an eternity. I strive to think of a way to save Lynn and the little lady the whole time. But how can a ray of light, of hope, reach this far down into the deep sea? Before I can think of an answer, the 12 seconds are up. Detective Jode! I bet that big masked man did this! I'm going to bite him! You better not. You might break your teeth. The command room has lost power and it's sinking, so I wonder what this masked man's going to do. Let's talk to Detective Jode! Sorry for the wait, Detective Jode.
Who are you? Are you Cecil?
Please excuse my appearance.
I can't believe you made it here. How is Camilla? And what about Lynn?
Well, it's kind of a long story. I told Detective Jode about everything that happened on the submarine Yanoa.
So the submarine is badly damaged. Why would he do that to his own submarine?
It's because he's afraid of my powers. You followed us? I didn't even notice. It's been 10 long years, Detective Jode.
Are you... Yomil?
So you remember me, do you?
How could I possibly forget?
So that's your real name, huh? Yomil? That's right. But those people on the Yanoa were calling you Cecil. That's just an alias I was using for my deal with them. I didn't see any need to tell them my real name. Would you let me ask you some questions? I've been trying to find out my true identity all night. Sure, go ahead. I'm sure there's plenty we can still tell you. Right, Detective Jode?
10 years ago, you were a top system engineer, weren't you?
System engineer? What's that? By the way, I'm a top Pomeranian, you know.
Well, it's kind of hard to explain to a dog, but it's a person who's good at using computers.
I don't mean to brag, but I was one of the best in the industry. That's how I got roped into joining that project. Project? What project? It was a project aimed at reorganizing the nation's top secret information. The goal was to build a new system using multidimensional programming theory. I was asked to join the project by an agent of the government. It doesn't sound like something a top Pomeranian would know anything about. To me, it just sounded like another challenging job. However, this job was also the target of a secret plot. I bet you can imagine the kind of crime the nation's top secrets might attract. Never thought for the life of me I'd ever have to deal with spies.
It was never made public, but every organization in the country moved on this one. And then one day, the name of a certain programmer emerged as a suspect.
I was the guy who built the core of the system.
The police arrested you, and then that incident happened.
He escaped from the interrogation room and took little Lynn as a hostage. By the way, Detective Jode, when was it that I was proven innocent?
About 6 months after your death. I'm so sorry, Yamil.
10 years ago. My soul was split from my body, and I lost everything. I was sealed in eternal darkness. I existed in this world, no question about that. But nobody noticed my presence. What good were my powers? They couldn't help anybody. Not even the passage of time could heal my pain. In fact, it only made it worse. I wanted to disappear, but I wasn't even allowed to do that. The way Lynn described it is exactly right. Sinking slowly towards the bottom of an endless sea. An overwhelming feeling of loneliness and despair. And I wanted all of you to suffer what I was suffering.
And that's why you murdered Alma.
That's right. I wanted you to know what it was like to lose everything you cared about. I wanted you to feel the same pain I felt.
What?
It was the twisted wish of a mind poisoned by infinite loneliness. And then, as I was plotting my revenge, I had an idea. I came up with a plan to use these powers of mine to make a deal.
I'm sure your powers will be very valuable to them. But what would you get out of the deal?
A new life.
Life?
I asked them for 2 conditions. Number 1 was that they help me with my revenge plot, and the second was a rebirth for me.
A rebirth? A new beginning, huh?
I didn't care if it was a fake life, an artificial life. I just wanted a physical receptacle for my soul, a name, an identity, an everyday life. I wanted to grow old in a society that would accept me. And finally, I wanted to die, but surrounded by a loving family. That's the kind of life I asked them for.
A completely man-made life.
That's right. I knew I couldn't hope for anything more than that. To make it all come true, I knew it would take a lot of money and a lot of power. That's why I decided to ask a national government to help me. And their response, well, in the end, was betrayal. They were making their moves much more carefully than I suspected. They sent spies to this country and researched my powers on their own. And they even figured out what Timsik was all about.
And you had no idea they were doing all of this?
Not at all. I was such a fool. So then, why did they go to all the trouble of making a deal with you? Why didn't they just steal a hunk of the Timsik meteorite from the park? They couldn't. Huh? After the manipulator incidents, research was conducted in this country too. A report was submitted to the government about the source of the manipulator's power. My Inspector Cabanella and the old pigeon guy, huh? At first, the government didn't believe the report. But then they decided to put the park under surveillance just in case. Surveillance, huh? It just looks like an ordinary peaceful park, but there are armed agents there at all times. Don't tell me that odd leaflet guy is one of them! No, not him. He's just a plain old odd person. That park is like a silent battlefield on an international scale.
So that's why they couldn't steal the Timsik meteorite.
And lately, under the pretense of building a housing site, they've been working on a plan to destroy that park in order to secure the Timsik meteorite. So that's it, huh?
So the upshot of your grand deal was this, huh?
Yeah, it's the ending I deserve.
But at least there's one thing you can be happy about.
Yeah, well, what's that?
You managed to seal me away at the bottom of the sea forever.
Well, shall we get started then? Started with what? Bring Detective Jode back to life, of course. What? What good would that even do now?
But we promised! We promised Miss Lynn and Miss Camilla we'd save them!
And we can't do that without you, Detective Jode. I've been guided by fate tonight to this place. I won't give up now.
Alright, fine. Let's see where it leads us.
Here we go then. Back to 4 minutes before your death.
So, where are we headed? We are not headed anywhere, Detective. What? There's only enough fuel on board to launch us away, Detective. We will run out soon, and this will be our destination, Detective. What are you talking about? That would mean that we're trapped here too! By the way, I am not human, Detective. I'm a remote-controlled robot, Detective. What? Your country's use of technology. It's plain off. We get that a lot, Detective. Why would you go to all the trouble to do this? That's nothing but a shell. Hardly a threat anymore. Commander Sith likes to provide against any possibility, no matter how small, Detective. Possibility? What are you talking about? There is no need for you to know, Detective. Now it is time to say goodbye, Detective. In the end, your fate remains the same. Camilla, forgive me.
You got turned into Swiss cheese. Remember what that big masked man said? Any possibility, no matter how small.
Possibility.
In other words, there might just be a chance here somewhere. The possibility of turning the situation around. Alright.
Huh?
What is it, Detective?
Look at Yomiu's shell.
There's no aura emanating from its body. Of course there isn't. The Timsek fragment is gone. Could this change in his shell give us some kind of lead? I figured it out. I know that this possibility, no matter how small, is what they're afraid of. What is it? My time was perpetually stopped thanks to the power of Timsek. His body cycled between the moments that separate his life and death.
But not anymore. The Timsek fragment has been taken away.
Exactly. So what does that mean? I get it. Your body won't come back to life anymore. The moment the Timsek fragment was removed from my shell, I became a regular corpse. So let's see. That means we can go back to 4 minutes before your death?
But wait a minute. Exactly when is that death?
That's simple. We'll find out. When we get there, let's move!
Dude, we're going like 10 years back in time? Is that what's happening?
I fell back through the cracks of time for what seemed like forever. And then I saw it. The final death at the end of this long night. Who exactly am I? I've already seen all the clues. All I have to do now is remember. The final journey to the truth starts now. We traveled back through time, and now we're here at the scene of that death. The start of it all is about to replay itself.
Is ready.
Hold it! Give it up. Do you really think you can outrun me? Now just calm down! Drop the weapon!
Stay back! If you come any closer, I'll shoot her!
Huh? Oh, a kitten. Shoo! You might get hurt.
Dang, dude took a meteorite back shot.
Are you okay? You're all right now. Are you hurt?
You saved me, mister.
I was just doing my job. The gods, they're the ones who saved you.
What's your job, mister?
Me? I'm a police detective. So that's the Timsek meteorite, huh?
It's beautiful. Looking at it from this angle.
It changed all of our fates completely.
We can't stop Timsek from falling from the sky, but we might be able to protect you from the fragment and save your life.
To be perfectly honest, I'm scared. If that meteorite fragment doesn't get him, I'm pretty sure I would have shot him. We might not be able to change your fate of dying.
I can accept that.
Huh?
What I did is inexcusable. No matter how the future might change, that fact will never go away. If my fate is to die here, then I accept it. This will be our last battle against fate. Beyond that will be a new future.
Okay, let's get started.
Now how are we gonna save you? If Lynn would just wander off somewhere, that would solve everything.
When her sweet potato is almost ready. Ha! She's not going to budge from that spot.
But you know, it makes me wonder. A little girl all alone in the park, listening to music and roasting a sweet potato. What kind of childhood does this girl have?
Doesn't everybody have at least one day in their life like that? Give her a break.
Anyway, if Lynn won't budge from that spot, then we'll just have to have the fragment move instead. How the heck is that gonna work? Oh wait, Missile's here. That's right. So what do we need to change?
You really startled her. You even made her drop her sweet potato.
I know how much this girl loves her food, too. Anyway, at least her fate has changed, albeit ever so slightly. Oh. Okay, I see what's supposed to happen. Okay, no, that works. No, it doesn't. Now I can't reach that. Okay, let me try this again. I want to see if I can get the timing right. There we go. No, I definitely need to swap these. And swap that with that. Oh my god, did I just kill him by accident?
The lamppost is bending! It really is a wonder it hasn't snapped. Might just hold out for a little while longer.
If I recall, the Timstick fragment smashed right through the glass lantern on its way down.
But if Mino sits firmly in its way...
Then fate should change! So I just let things play out, right? There! How's that?
Look! The fragment's course! It changed a little!
Emil's fate should really change.
Wait a minute. Take another look at that fragment's trajectory.
Oh! My knee! Oh!
Detective Jode! The Timstick fragment shot through his leg.
Come on. Put it down.
Huh?
Jode, put the gun down, now! If you don't, you're going to shoot him!
I don't know if it's his detective training or what, but even though he's shaking from the pain, the gun doesn't waver.
Put the gun down! No! I knew it. This is my true fate. In the end, I stole his life away with my own hands.
I won't let that happen!
Missile! The bullet stopped in midair!
I'm here! I'm inside the bullet! Now let's swap it with something!
What? With what?
Meteorite fragment is what made you pull the trigger. We won't let you become a murderer! There must be something with the same shape as the bullet around here.
He just got impaled! He just got impaled! This dude is skewered!
Oh no. We stopped the bullet, but we still couldn't save him. That's not true. My fate of getting pierced through the back might have not changed, but I'm still alive.
What?
I'm not dead. I'm just unconscious. Okay, so your fate of death has changed, but still, this fate is just too painful to watch, in every sense. I don't think so. As long as I'm alive, that's good enough for me.
Look out! Wake up! You gotta get out of there! Ugh, damn it! My leg won't work!
It's all over! We're out of time! Miss Lynn!
It's not over yet!
But there isn't anything else to swap it with!
Why don't we just let it play out, and then try and find another way next time? Even if she dies, all you have to do is possess her corpse. Then you can redo her last 4 minutes as many times as it takes. No! I won't do that! Why not? Sure, the fate of her death should be erased, but her memory of it would remain the same. It's like a scar in her psyche. I won't let that happen. Not if I can help it. I think there might be something that can be done.
What is it? What can Cecil and I do?
Don't forget, I'm here too. With 3 kinds of powers among us, we ought to be able to fight this battle. This battle against the fate of death.
Yomil!
Cecil, your power is manipulating objects. Use your power to manipulate this. Huh? I don't get it. Just trust me. Let's go. All right. I gotta get over there. Now, gather your strength and make it spray as if your life depended on it. I'm dead though. In that case, make it spray as if your death depended on it. Give it your all. And remember, you only have a split second. Okay, now do it! Got it! Now, it's your turn, Missile.
What? Me? But what can I do?
I think you know the answer to that.
Okay, got it.
You can swap them. That hunk of concrete will go back to its original position.
But even if I swap them, it'll still be right above Miss Lynn.
Don't worry.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll swap them. It's no use! We can't stop that horrible Mino!
What else can we do now? I don't see how gaining a second or two helped.
Oh, it helped all right. Those few seconds were exactly what I wanted. Last up, it's my turn. Your turn? You know what my power is, right? I can manipulate living creatures. Wait a minute. You mean... That's right. I'm going to save that little girl. Save her by manipulating my own unconscious body.
Ooh.
Ah, you're awake.
Hey, mister, is your knee okay?
Huh? Oh, it'll be fine. It's just a scrape. I'm lucky it wasn't a fatal hit. But the main thing is that you're not hurt.
You saved me, mister.
I was just doing my job. The gods, they're the ones who saved you.
What's your job, mister?
Me? I'm a police detective. Do you think you could go call the police for me? I think you could do it quicker than I could.
But... What's that?
This is a detective's badge. We give them to children who've been very brave.
A detective's badge? Thanks!
Okay. You know what to do, little detective. Are you alive?
Yeah. Sadly.
Hang on. Help is coming. What made you do such a reckless thing?
To be completely honest, I don't really know. When I came to, my body was already moving all by itself. It was as if somebody else was controlling me.
I see.
But, you know, I'm glad it happened.
Hey, mister. I found this kitten. It was over there.
Come to think of it, I just saw it a few minutes ago. It's probably a stray.
It's kind of limp. Is it okay?
I don't know. I think it's unconscious. That's funny. It doesn't look like it's injured or anything.
Poor little kitty.
How about if I take it to my house and look after it? Would you like to come home with me, little kitten?
Well, it looks like his fate just changed in a big way. Whose fate? That kitten's, of course. Cecil's. Cecil? The name Cecil. It echoes in my head. That's my real name. Those long, lonely 10 years. You were my one and only friend. How about it? Do you remember now? Old friend. I think I finally remember. 10 years ago, I was a little kitten that wandered into this park. I was weak and all alone in the world.
Hold it!
Somebody, please look at me.
Huh? Oh, a kitten! Shoo! You might get hurt!
Somebody, please reach out a hand to me. I had just only died at the time. I had lost everything. My life, my memory. My body wouldn't move anymore, but I still managed to reach out a hand to him. The next thing I knew, my soul had transferred to the black kitten. With no recollection of who I was, I lived as a cat with you for a while. After a while, the man regained his memory. I went back to being just a cat. Then the man got back his body. I took my body back from the morgue. There was somebody I just had to go see. Just one more time. I took control of my body, and I hurried for her house. But I was just a little too late. I had just missed her as she left this world. She left me a note that said, "I'm coming to you, Yomil." The man named me Cecil. It was the name of something important he had lost, along with his life. His fiancée. He told me about it once, but I didn't understand what it was. Those 10 years were very happy for me, but they weren't happy for the man. There was nothing I could do for him. For 10 years I wandered through the darkness, with no particular place to go. As time passed, my hours gradually changed. At first, I can only manipulate small creatures and objects. But then after a while, I could manipulate people. That's when darkness inside me deepened, and I started to get a little twisted. I wanted light. Distorted, artificial light. When I got my revenge on Lynn, I would see that light. Or at least, that's what I tried to believe. I left my old self buried in that junkyard and just walked away.
The Black Cat.
I was possessing Cecil then. It wouldn't look very much like a murder if the corpse got up and walked away after all.
So you borrowed the body of your old friend.
Cecil was inside that bag I was carrying tonight. I had no intention of leaving my friend behind in this country when I left. But then, when I went to possess his body, I realized something horrible.
What was that?
Cecil, there inside the bag, was dead.
What?
Her first shot hit the bag instead. I wondered about that because I wondered where that shot actually went.
I wasn't able to control her completely. The first bullet didn't hit anything. Or so I thought.
But it did hit something, didn't it? It hit Cecil inside the bag.
Yes, that's when I lost my life. Right there in the presence of Timsic radiation. And that's when I got my powers of the dead. My ghost tricks. I think I understand it now. Why was I the only one who couldn't get his memory back? Well, it was because I had thought that corpse was me. It was the only corpse I could see at the time, after all. But as it turns out, it wasn't the only dead body. My true death was hiding just behind that corpse. Now that I think about it, do you remember what you said? That you knew all along about me saving Lynn tonight? If you knew, why didn't you try to stop me? It's simple. Because I couldn't even if I wanted to. Huh? Why not? Remember the last thing about individual differences and the powers we get? I can control all kinds of things, from the living to the dead. But even so, there are some things that you can do that I can't. You mean? I can't even rewind time, let alone change the fate of a death. If I could do those things, I would have saved your life. Not only that, but I never would have just let my fiancé stay dead like that. But you're here now, 10 years ago, in the past. That's thanks to your powers. I just tagged along with you.
In any case, now that the starting point of this entire tragedy has changed dramatically, altering fate. The fate of your death, the kitten Cecil's fate. And I can just bet you the fate of the woman you love has changed too.
Yes, I believe you're right.
So, Yomil, it looks like your plan for revenge ended in failure.
Yes, and well, I'm glad too. She understood. She shed tears for me. That's when my revenge was over. She saved me from the darkness. Well, I guess it's time we got back. A new 10 years later was just born.
Right. We should get back to our new present.
I can't wait to see Miss Lynn and Miss Camilla again.
So these past 10 years will now vanish. Well, not completely. The memories of all of us here will remain, including the memory of what I did, my crime, and no matter what the reason. There's no denying the fact that I took Lynn hostage and tried to point a gun at her. I have no intention of running away from that either. The most inexcusable crime in my new life. Hey, Cecil. Yes? When we go back, our fates will no longer be interconnected. It'll be like we never met. So before that happens, I just wanted to say one thing. Tonight, I stole away your life with my own hands. I'm truly sorry. That's already a thing of the lost past. Our fates have changed now, right, Yomil? Thank you, Cecil. I'm so very glad I met you. Me too, Yomil.
Cecil, are we ever going to see each other again? I couldn't stand it if we weren't.
Don't worry, Missile. I bet we'll see each other again someday. 10 years from now, our paths are sure to cross. We'll just have to wait until then.
Cecil, I'll never forget you.
I'll never forget you either, valiant little doggy.
It looks like you come to live with me now. So let's be getting home, little black cat.
Home, huh? That sounds good, Detective Joad. We all witnessed the birth of a new beginning, and now we're each going back to our own new present. We said our goodbye to the parts of our stories that would be lost, believing that someday our paths would all cross again. I don't know who's saying this. Wait! Before we go back to a new present, I wanted to thank you.
Oh, it was Ray, I figured.
Before I cease to exist.
Oh, it's you!
Yes, it is I, Ray, in case you have forgotten again. Thanks to you, everything has turned out as I had hoped. I really am grateful to you, Cecil. Thank you.
But don't forget, I was only on a journey to find my own lost memory.
Yes, I know that. I know all about you.
Can I ask you a question, Ray? I want to know, who exactly are you?
Fair enough. I will tell you. Let me tell you about another version of tonight's events. You changed the fate of many people tonight, the first of which was hers. If you had not been there for her tonight, her fate would have been to die in that lonely spot on the outskirts of town. If that had occurred, what do you suppose would have happened? Let me tell you a story of a little creature. After they stole her life that night, they broke into her apartment. They stole the wooden box from the ceiling hiding place and left. And in the process, 2 little dead bodies were left behind. However, the little fellow's spirit lived on. He desperately reached out his paw towards his mistress. And that's when a miracle occurred.
What?
Look at that! The powers of the dead! But how?
He didn't really understand it himself. Well, not yet anyway. But with all you know now, I bet you understand it, do you not?
Hey, wait a minute.
He died inside the aura of that strange energy. But unfortunately, with his meager powers, he was unable to save his little mistress. There just wasn't anything he could do with only the power to swap objects.
He needed the power to manipulate objects in order to save the little lady.
The little fellow chased after the men, but there wasn't anything he could do. In the end, he was left behind with the man in red in the deep, deep sea. And then he went back. He went back to the world of 10 years before, to the moment of the man in red's death.
What?
He decided to wait it out. He decided to wait until that night came again. And that's the other version of the story of this night. A story that has taken these 10 years to be retold.
So that was you, huh?
That's right. I'm Missile. 10 years is a very long time in dog years.
You couldn't change the fate of those people on your own, so you decided to wait those 10 years out.
Exactly. And then at last, that fateful night rolled around again. By this time I had grown old and my powers were weak. So I decided I needed to find somebody to help me this time round. Somebody who possessed different powers than me.
But wait a second. You're able to manipulate that desk lamp.
Over the course of long years, my powers changed. My ability to swap objects weakened, but I became able to manipulate small objects.
But in that case, why didn't you cooperate with yourself?
Because I couldn't. From watching the man in red, I found out there were individual differences in our powers. I couldn't do any of the things he could do. Like travel through the telephone lines, for example. It may not seem like much, but it's a very important power. Especially if you're trying to chase somebody.
But there's something I don't understand. You knew from the very beginning that I had that power. How did you know so much about me?
Why wouldn't I? After all, we had met before on that night, the first time around.
Wait, what? We met before?
From listening to the conversation of the two intruders to the apartment, I learned that Miss Lane had lost her life at that junkyard on the edge of town. I followed the ghost world past to the junkyard and came upon an incredible scene. Imagine, if you will, there in the darkness, a twisting and swiveling desk lamp.
That was me? So I was shot on that night the first time around as well.
You had lost your memory that time too. You had just died. You felt confused. You declined to cooperate with me.
I did what? I just want to find my own lost memory. I'm sorry, but I can't help you.
And then you disappeared.
I'm really sorry I didn't help you.
That's why I decided that this time, I would use that desire of yours to our mutual advantage.
Mutual advantage?
The only thing you were interested in was finding your own lost memory. If I could guide you along the right path to doing that, we'd both benefit. And namely, the right path would be the path to the man in red, to your meal. I gave you the information you needed to know to set you in the right direction. And then I gave you a time limit.
A time limit?
That's right. As you know, I said you only had until tomorrow morning. If I hadn't done that, you wouldn't have found out the truth tonight. And the man in red would have been sealed away at the bottom of the sea forever.
Then you mean that thing about ceasing to exist?
Oh, that was completely made up. A little naughty of me, I know. But I just wanted you to use your time wisely.
Oh, boy. I hate to admit it, but this little doggy really outsmarted me in every way.
And now it's time to say farewell. These past 10 years will cease to exist, and with them, so will I. I believed in you. I always knew you could do it, and so you did. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Missile. So you waited and waited those 10 long years. All for the sake of your two ladies, Lan and Camilla.
Of course. Because that's what doggies do. Now then, farewell, Cecil.
And so the story of a single night came to an end. Nobody but us knew what really happened in this town tonight. I made my way back to a new present. Huh? How come it's so dark? I'll just turn on the lights here. Oh, it's Lynn. Oops, sorry.
I'm coming for you!
Were you surprised?
You bet I was. You nearly scared me to death.
Yippee! Yippee! It worked!
But it's not even my birthday today.
It was my mom's birthday the day before yesterday. I made the surprise for her, and it came out so well, I wanted to use it again.
That's all right, Lynn. After all, we're celebrating the birth of your new position as detective, right?
Really? Thank you, Detective Jode.
Dad, you're home!
Hi, Camilla. Let me introduce you. This is Lynn. She was just assigned to the detective division today.
Hi, Camilla. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Lynn. Congratulations on becoming a detective. Huh?
Is something wrong?
You have one of those badges too?
Oh, this? Yeah.
I have one just like it. My dad just gave it to me the other day, but yours looks a lot older than mine though.
How long are you going to keep wearing that toy badge, Lynn?
What's wrong with it? I mean, to me, this is the symbol of a real detective.
It's been 10 long years since then, hasn't it? Who would have guessed you'd actually become a detective one day?
When you gave me this badge, I just knew. I knew it was my destiny somehow.
Destiny, huh?
And now that I'm a detective, I'll find out where that destiny will lead me.
That you will.
Oh, hello. Don't tell me you're that same little kitten.
That's right. The very one.
You know what? This is a very, very special cat. He's 10 years old, but he's still a kitten.
Still a kitten?
Yep, he never got any bigger or anything.
Wow, what a mysterious little fellow.
I know, right? His name is Cecil.
Cecil. It seems to me I've heard that name before somewhere.
I think Cecil likes you, Lynn.
Oh my god, she's alive! Alright, everyone, let's start the celebration.
Okay, Mom.
I bet you're just like me. Your destiny led you here somehow, too. And so we meet again, Cecil.
From just that single night as a human, I got a glimpse into their world. And I learned something. Their fates, their lives, they're all interconnected. Somewhere, somehow, in some way. And now, this is my new fate. I guess I really am a cat. It suits me just fine to curl up and watch the strange and beautiful patterns of their lives as they unfold. And it looks like I'll have plenty of time to watch here for quite a while.
Oh my god! That was so good! Oh, we're still going.
He says, hey, happy birthday to our lovely Lynn.
Like I said, it isn't my birthday. Hey, Missile, I thought I asked you to stay home and guard the fort.
But birthdays are for celebrating together with friends and loved ones. Nothing like it, baby. I frickin' love pasta.
What a game.
Slay! Slay!
There, how do you like that? Not bad, huh?
But definitely not good.
Maybe now I can be a great detective just like Inspector Cabanella.
What kind of example is Inspector providing for his men?
We're getting the where are they nows. Oh, my boys!
Today's the day, you know. He's finally getting out. You know, everybody's starting to get real tired of seeing you do that.
Then let me show you a new dance that's been passed down in our family for generations. We do this when we have a stomach ache. We call it Dance Away the Pain.
Oh, I'm real interested in that one. Think you could show it to me, say, next week?
You got it!
Oh, he lived!
"10 long years, Yomil."
Your time is today. The young lady who always comes to visit you is waiting outside.
Thank you, Cecil.
I thought they actually killed him. We only had broken bones. I'm so glad nobody died. I'm gonna grab a photo. Give me a sec. Nice. This was such a good game. Thank you so much for watching this entire series of Ghost Trick Fan Detective. I thought this game was an absolute joy, and I hope you enjoyed the series as much as I did playing the actual game. Why don't you go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit that like button as well. I very, very much appreciate that. It gives me the dopamine hit that I need for the day. But take it easy. Farewell. Until next time. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.